You found the Live Local Marketing Podcast, where business owners share their knowledge about what's working in the market today. No fluff, just their experiences and stories from people who are making it happen. And if authentic, practical marketing resonates with you, be sure to visit livelocalwarmmarketing.com and learn to grow your business on warm marketing referrals. Now, on to the show. Thanks for joining us here today. We are at the Live Local Marketing Podcast, where with Stephen Booth, who is a marketing and SEO expert in the field of artistry, and he's moving into small businesses as well, which we'll get into as we talk today. Stephen, how are we doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thanks, Bill. How are you?
Awesome. I'm ready to go. So to review the format, we've got our 7 topics off to the side there. Stephen gets 2 minutes to go over each one. And at the very end, we'll give him the outros where he talks about his business and where you can find out more information about him and his business and grow your art or small business better. All set, ready to go?
Yep, let's do it.
All right, man. The first one's my favorite always. As an entrepreneur, what do you describe as your first win?
Well, I have 2 businesses that are significant to what we're talking about. One is I'm a traditional publisher. So bringing in authors who are high quality that are going to, get off their ass and do something, excuse my language. That's a major win for us because that's where we make most of our money. The other part of my business is I work with self-publishing authors. And it's always nice to have clients coming in who want the same quality of work that I do for the publishing business for themselves. And, they give me a check and I walk away and they have their product and it's wonderful. So that's my first win.
Okay, that's good. Do you find yourself gravitating towards certain kinds of books and authors, or is it just
in my publishing business, we publish true crime, music history, Sherlock Holmes, fiction, ships. Oh my God, there's we're doing right now. We're doing a new imprint called Genius Self-Discovery, and that's like philosophy, meditation, chakra balancing, all sorts of stuff like that. It's really great.
So it's mostly it's mind inspiring. It seems like you have you're challenging the mind, challenging your art, challenging your taste. It seems like that's kind of the direction you're going.
Well, that's what I've been writing about a lot recently is the mindset for creatives and actually for anybody who wants to get over, for example, specifically their fear of looking foolish, which I feel comes from early childhood experiences. And that's, I've written several books on this subject recently, of which I have one right here. And that's where my head is. I'm the first book in that new imprint.
Okay, that's interesting stuff, right? So that leads us into our next question, since we have all these different styles and genres. Book people aren't quite as good at branding. So what's the conversation look like with them when you sit down and you talk about branding for a book? They feel like it's a book. Here you go, take it or leave it. But it's more to that.
Right. Well, for branding, first of all, branding an author is actually pretty easy. Amazon, for example, makes it pretty straightforward. I can't say that it's the same thing for visual artists or musicians because I have less experience with them. But for an author, branding comes down to basically being in one place, being findable, being a human. Okay. Now, one place can be kind of relative. I prefer to pick a platform like I'm on Substack. Okay. That's my personal preference of platform. I work with some, authors in their 70s and they have zero desire to be on social media. I'm not making this up. I actually I have a new book that I'm writing right now called The Old School Way to Win at Business. And it's based on, I have 4 authors that I'm working with who are crushing it in their 70s because they're not on TikTok dancing. They are in Kiwanis clubs and senior centers and community rooms and libraries, and they're showing up in person. Actually, I have several authors who were not in their 70s that are doing this as well. Those are the people who are crushing it. The people who are trying to make technology amplify themselves, unless you have something to amplify, unless you have something to signal boost or scale, which is showing up as a real person, then there's nothing to amplify. That's what branding is to me. It's showing up in one place and being a real human.
Is there like a series of like questions or interview style type things that you use to kind of feel them out when you meet them first time?
Well, when I'm working with an author, I'm publishing their book because I believe in it. And if they're going to sell their book, which real briefly, I noticed we're out of time. There's top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel, right? Top of funnel is mostly in the domain of the author, unawareness to awareness. The middle of funnel is absolutely in their domain. That's where they have to show up and be a human. My job as their publisher is to be bottom of funnel. When the reader is ready to buy, I make sure that book is findable. Okay. That's how I see the funnel process.
So they basically are like, create who they are, express who they are, and you find a way to sell it.
Well, I don't find a way to sell it. They connect with the reader through even at arm's length. And then when the reader is ready to buy, I make sure that the book is where they expect it to be, Amazon or wherever,
Got it. That makes sense. That's good. So this day and age, it seems like you're very hands-on. Or do you handle every bit of it? Or are there parts of your system that you hand off to other people and team or whatnot?
We're a very small operation. Even though we have 80 authors and 120 titles, there's three of us. There's me, my part-time assistant, Andrea, and my wife, Leah, who is also part-time as our editor-in-chief and chief organizing officer. We don't say chief operating officer. We say chief organizing officer. And she keeps me appointed. I have ADHD and bipolar disorder, so I am not the organized person. I could show you my desk and you'd be horrified. So as far as the systems are concerned, I do most of it. I don't do the editing, but I do the book design. I do the cover design for the most part. Sometimes I farm that out. I do all of the mechanics of getting the book and where it needs to go. I do the marketing copy, like the back cover sales copy, whatever you find on the back of the book. That's my domain. What I don't do is I don't make connections for authors on their behalf. I don't. And I don't really encourage them to do it to have other people do that sort of thing for themselves. I was just telling you this story earlier. I'm going to give you real quick. Having somebody else do your top and middle of funnel is like being in the hospital after a bad accident. Sorry, guys. And having somebody, needing to learn how to walk again and having somebody come in and say, you know what, for $500, for $1,500, I'll do your PT for you. Okay. You don't have to lift a finger. You're never going to walk again, but it only costs you $500. Okay. That's what having, no offense to all the marketers in the world. No. It's up to the author to do that kind of work.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So everybody's got a role to play in that scenario.
Everybody's got a role to play. Yeah, you can in fact hire out Google ads. That's top of funnel.
Yes.
Meta ads. I've been known to do meta ads, and that's something that you can farm out. But that messy middle, no, you have to be a human being in there.
Got it. That makes sense. Next, as we roll through, and you've probably done a lot of different styles of marketing and creation. What have you foregone? What systems you're like, I'm not doing that again. It doesn't work. I'm out. A quick break before we get to that next answer, because I know that answer is going to be brilliant, which is why I chose this moment to interrupt. If you love what you're seeing and you want to run your business off of warm marketing referrals, visit our website, livelocalwarmmarketing.com. It's got valuable resources, office hours, memberships, the book, an array of resources to help you get rid of cold calls, cold leads, door knocking, and run a business you can be proud of through referrals and warm marketing. Now, back to the show.
Well, the answer is what I just said a moment ago, which is truly, it's hiring other people to be me, to be my personal signal. Like I'm here right now in this room doing this thing. I'm on Substack giving little short 6-minute videos to my authors all the time, and actually to everybody because I put them out beyond the paywall. I'm showing up. I can't hire somebody to be me, okay? And I can't ask an author to do, or I can't really, authorize, or what's the word I'm looking for? I don't encourage people to do the same thing. I don't encourage them to hire people to be them online. Or in the personal spaces, like I said, the Kiwanis clubs of the world and the community centers. You have to show up for yourself. So what I've foregone is that for some reason, all the marketers want to charge you $1,500. It's just $1,500, and I've spent thousands of dollars trying those people out, and I'm done with it. That's what I've foregone. For the rest of it, I pretty much do everything myself, but I like I said, I farm out some of the creative work. I have some really good cover designers. I'm a good artist. You people can see the art behind me. There's my cat
right behind you.
That's
your stuff.
There's a girl folding over at the waist. There's an airplane right there. Awesome. And so I do all that myself. But that doesn't mean that I'm a great cover artist. I'm a good cover artist, just not the best one I know. So
got it. So you're never farming out the creative. The creative and the personality has to stay, or it won't work.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. So let me move into the next one, which is everybody's question these days. What is some of the best uses for AI based on your personality? Like you absorb the creative. What are you using AI for, if anything?
Well, what I'm using AI for right now is rapid prototyping books that I'm writing myself.
Got it.
Okay. Now, don't misunderstand. I'm not going to ChatGPT, which is my personal favorite, and saying, write me a book on this subject and just letting it run. I don't do that. It doesn't work. First of all, you get garbage. But I have 5 or 10 years of research that I've done on these topics, at least 3 or 4 years, sometimes more, that I feed in. I feed in the transcripts from my videos that I do. I feed in, conversations that I've had with other people from emails. And I say, this is the subject. Help me write it. Help me get the words out. And so I'm going to plug my book. This book here was written in, I think, 3 days or 5 days, based on 10 years worth of research that I created in my voice and all that sort of stuff. And I don't have any problems with telling people that AI helped me rapid prototype this, because it sounds exactly like I talk. It sounds like the inside of my head. And that's what I try to produce. So AI for me is rapid prototyping books. And basically what I do is I feed them all my content, all my ideas, all my voice. And then I say, let's do a table of contents. I approve the table of contents. And then I do 1 or 2 chapters at a time. I make sure that they're exactly what I want. I don't let because it talks in staccato. It's like forward paragraph, forward paragraph, forward paragraph. And I'm like, no, I want long paragraphs, because that's how I talk. That's how I'm using AI right now. And I've written 5 books in 5 weeks.
Wow, that's crazy. But the workload was putting all of your personality into it before you let it start doing it.
Yeah, no, it's not like I wrote 5 books in 5 weeks after doing 10 years of research.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So,
all right. So that took you a lot of time. Let's talk about the budgeting. So if you have a client who's just getting started up in this, and it could be either money or time, because those are synonymous. Yeah. Where should they start? Where should they be putting their money or their time in regards to starting up this books writing?
Okay. Specifically in regards to books, they need to be putting their time into crafting the words. Okay. And as you can tell, I'm not a big stickler for AI. I want the message to be there, especially in nonfiction. I'm not going to go, oh, it's AI. No, I'm going to go, did you make your point? Is it something that we can work with? Is it something we can edit? Is it something we can market? Okay. That's where they need to spend their time. After that, if they're a client and they're paying me money, then what they're paying for is exactly the same thing I would do for an author, not for free, because I get paid for it on the back end. I get paid at the front, I get paid on the back. The difference between being a self-published author and a traditionally published author is how entrepreneurial are you? How much control do you want over the process? How much work are you willing to do to get it right? Okay. Yeah. I've been doing this for 15 years, the publishing, consulting, publishing itself. I know all the tricks. I know all the conversations that I need to have. And I will sell that to you. Absolutely. But it's going to cost you $1,500, something like that, which is funny because I keep talking about $1,500.
That's the number. That is our go-to. I'm going to go and play the lottery.
It's usually more like $1,100, but that kind of thing. But if you're an author that I'm publishing, I pay the bills. Whoever pays the bills is the publisher. That's the number one message I want you to get from this part of the conversation. If you're paying the bills, don't let somebody else put their imprint on there and take the rights. Just don't do it. So
got it. All right, so you have a whole team. You're running a bunch of stuff yourself. You do all these different things, and you've been doing it forever, and research and writing your own and editing and all the stuff. How do you rest and recharge? How do you avoid burning out, doing all the things all the time?
How do I avoid? This is probably the hardest one.
Everybody struggles a little bit.
Really, it's the art for me.
Got it.
I started out doing art mainly because, and I told you it was because I wanted to do custom gifts, and that's true. But also, I was the primary caretaker for my narcissistic father-in-law, who had 5 strokes and wasn't able to take care of himself real well. So, in order to detox from that experience of being directly connected to that person, I started painting, because there's no words to it all day long. All I do is words. There's no words to it. It's very therapeutic, and that's how I detox. But also, I'm a big fan of hyperfocus. And with these 5 books that I wrote in 5 weeks, people who are in the hyperfocus world, and ADHD and autism and all that sort of stuff, don't avoid people. They avoid shallow conversations. They don't like talking about the weather. They like talking about Star Wars, and they want to talk about this one little tiny part of Star Wars. I happen to be a Star Wars fan. And deep meaning. And that's, so writing these 5 books that I wrote in the last 5 weeks was not taxing, because I was deeply involved in my own systems, and I was able to generate them and create them. My wife has them on her desk. She's edited 2 of them. I'm writing a 5th one or 6th one right now, and it's just a lot of fun. And that's how I recharge is by letting myself go into that state of flow. That's that and art. So yeah.
Always such a fine line with artists and creatives between work and release, right? Because they can be the same thing at the same time a lot. And so
absolutely.
There's no question it's a tough space. Yep. So. Well, I appreciate your time today. All right. So the part of the message that I loved throughout was the fact that you have to take responsibility of being your own creative, and you have to make sure you know what your goals are, and don't hand off the important stuff to people just out of being lazy. Make sure you make it your own and bring it in, and be sure that it's your creative, it's your work, and represent you really well. So I love that message as we went throughout today. So the outro, it's going to be you ready to go. We have talk about your business, and then where can people find you, so that we can talk more about their book and their projects with you.
Okay. Well, my publishing business is at geniusbookpublishing.com. You can find me easily there. I'm one of my own authors, as you probably figured out. We have 80 books on a variety of subjects. Please check us out. You can find our contact information there. The easiest way to find me is at geniuspubstudio.substack.com. I don't have a domain for it. It's geniuspubstudio.substack.com. If you go to the About page, you will find my email address. You will find my phone number. It's my actual phone. I don't always pick it up, but I always listen to my voicemail, and I always return calls from real human beings. The other thing I want to talk about is The Art of Being Found. It's a book about overcoming the fear of looking foolish, and getting your work out there. It's a guide for shared discovery between creators and their fans. I'm very proud of it. You can think whatever you want about AI prototyping. It's a great book. The people who've read it are just flipping out over it, and I'm very proud of it. That's on Amazon. That's on my website. You can find it pretty much wherever you want to look for it. So that and if you're interested in becoming one of our authors, there is a submissions page on Genius Book Publishing. We don't take a lot of authors because we just don't have the capacity. Yeah, I mean, with a 3-person operation, we just don't, and we can't do more than 2 books a month. We've tried. But if you have a book that you think we will appreciate in whatever genre, pitch it. Worst case scenario, we say no. That's our job, is to say no to authors. So
that's awesome. So all the show notes will be in the description in the bottom. Make sure you check them out, especially if you have a book or even a book idea. I'm sure you sit down and we'll coach people through it a little bit.
I love talking shop. I will talk shop all day long. That's what I do.
Creatives. Yeah, I can tell because you're a creative. So I know you probably loving chopping ideas. So if you have an idea for a book, or you've got the book, or you're just looking for SEO and various tips, make sure you hop in, check Steven out. Steven, I appreciate your time today and your knowledge. And thank you for
thank you for having me. This has been great.